Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in. Today we are cutting an off shoulder corset. Please like and subscribe for my video. Thank you. So I already have my pattern paper with my chest line, my bust point, under bust and the waist. This is going to be half of the waist that we are using. I have all of that drawn down. Now because this is an off shoulder and corset, from the normal chest line I'm going down by 1 inches, and then that 1 inches is where I'm going to start using for my off shoulder. Why I'm doing this is, if you watched my previous off shoulder video, I did this also just so that I will have more accommodation for the hand. So I came down by 1 inch from the normal armhole line, and then I'm going to draw a new armhole line because this is an off shoulder, and then I'm cleaning it up and making it nice and good. So after doing that, now I can now go on to start imputing my darts and all other measurements. As you can see, I've already drawn a line from the shoulder to the waistline to show where the nipple to nipple measurement is, and also to show half of the remaining shoulder line. So on the waistline, I'm going to measure 1 inch on both sides of that nipple to nipple measurement. On the under bust, I also measure that 1 inch, and then I'm going to use a straight line to join the parallel lines. So after joining the parallel lines like that, I'm going to take the curvy part of my ruler and I just curve it up to where the bust point is, like that. So I'm just blending it in. You can also use your hand to do this, but it's just advisable to use the curve ruler to do this because you get a better shape by doing it like that. So after curving it up like that, now I'm going to go to the armhole area. Now because this is an off shoulder, I'm going to come down by 6 inches because I want the off shoulder to be very off because this is a corset. So I'm going to come down by 6 inches, and then I'm going to draw out a straight line across the chest there to represent that is the where the new shoulder line will be for the off shoulder. So now remember that this line that goes from the shoulder to the waistline is supposed to be half of the shoulder line, and then the nipple to nipple measurement joined together. So on the new shoulder line, I'm going to measure half an inch from the middle. So half an inch on the new shoulder line, half an inch on the chest line till the bust point, and just see the way I'm joining it like that. So from that half an inch that I put on the bust line, I'm going to get my curve ruler and just curve out from the under bust dart to that half an inch. It's very, very simple. Just curve it out like I'm doing like that. So after curving it out there, I'm going to measure what I have from the line that separates the nipple to that place, and I have 3.5. So on that other side of the bust, that is towards the side, I will also measure that 3.5. After measuring that 3.5, I'm going to add 0.75 to it so that I'm going to have accommodation for my boobs on that side, because the boobs is bigger towards the side than it is towards the middle. So that's just what I've done there. And then just like I did with the one towards the middle, I'm going to take a curving ruler, just join that like that to the under breast. Remember, you are joining with the curve and not a straight line, and the curvier you make it, the more accommodation you have for your breast. So on that new chest new armhole points that I drew there, I'm going to measure 1 inch. Now from that 1 inch, I'm going to join from that 1 inch to where the curve of the corset for the side stops. So just like that, join it. Remember, I went from where the angle of the armhole is, I just 1 inch to 1 inch forward, and then I just use a curve to join it like that, just to follow how I'm doing it. Now see that because of the way I joined it, it is looking a little bit funny, so I'm just cleaning up my lines and then properly joining it like that, so that the curve runs from that armhole to where it's supposed to be by the side, and everything looks nice. So now, because I don't want to have a straight neckline, then I'm going to come down by 1 inch from the middle part, and that 1 inch is what I'm going to use to form my neckline. Just see the way that I'm joining it like that with the curve. So there, like that, I formed my neckline, and I'll just make sure that everything is joined up. So after forming my neckline, on that dividing shoulder line, I'm going to measure 0.75 on either side, so that is going to be the dart at the upper part, and that is going to contribute to the curviness of the corset. So just measure 0.75 on both sides, and then we are going to join that from that place, join to the bust point. So after joining to the bust point, I realized that this middle line was looking a little bit funny because it wasn't well connected. So I'll join the the shoulder line or chest dart to the bust point, and then this line that runs from the shoulder, apex of the shoulder to the bust. I'm going to clean it and then redo it again. So all of these things is just why you should use pencil to make your drawing, so that you can easily make corrections, and then you can see how it's going to look even before you see it. Sorry for the generator noise. So Nigerian generator. So now that I have all of this in place right now, next thing I'm going to do is to use my marker to just boldly show where all the lines are, and that's what I'm just doing. I'll just use marker to draw out all the lines that I've already used pencil to draw, so that you can see it properly before I cut it out. When I'm doing this, please begging you, if you're watching this, be sure to like the video so that other people can get to see the video also please subscribe, so that I'll feel encouraged to post more videos and more sewing content. Thank you very much. I appreciate your like and subscription in advance. And now next thing I'm going to do is to add all my measurements. So I'm adding quarter of my bust measurement plus 2 inches for the dart, and then 2 inches allowance. And then I'll move on to where my underbust, the measurement I have for my waist is what I also put on the underbust. Now on the new chest line that I drew from the beginning, I'll measure quarter of my bust measurement, and whatever that is on that line that falls where the chest line is, I'm going to measure what the dart is. Yeah, it's 0.6, and that 0.6 I'm going to add it to the measurement, so that when I cut out the dart, it's not going to reduce out of my bust measurement. And of course I will add 2 inches. Note here that when you finish cutting out all the pattern, you have to now add half an inch to join everything. together. So on the chest line, I'm going to put 5.5, which is what I use as standard for my off shoulder, and then I'll measure the darts, which is going to be 1.5. Add the darts measurement back to where the chest line is, so that when I cut it and then I finish sewing it, everything is going to fall as 5.5. Of course, that is because I'm going to add half an inch allowance to join it together. So you can just see that curve there is where my new my new armhole line is. So now I can now cut out my bodice. But before I finish cutting it out, I want to make sure that this slope that I have towards the chest line side matches up together, so that when I am sewing my corset, one line will not be longer than the other line. So I'm just folding the paper so that I can match the middle darts to the side darts. So if I did like this, by the time I cut it out, everything is going to match up. Just follow how I'm doing it like that. When you match each of those, draw a straight line so that everything will match. I know what's on your mind. We do this all the time. We fight and then we're fine. You know I'm yours, you're mine. Oh mine, I'm yours, you're mine. Oh mine, oh mine, I'm yours, you're mine. Oh mine. Why you keep on asking about my friend, Bo? Mess around and put up in the friend zone. With you is like being in the end zone. Touchdown, ayy. I be in the box like it's bento. Hit my heart beating, what's the tempo? Ain't the game running through your tempo. Bust down, ayy. I know what's on your mind. We do this all the time. We fight and then we're fine. You know I'm yours, you're mine. Oh mine, I'm yours. So now I have the back pattern of the clothes. I'm just going to cut that directly on the fabric because it doesn't require much stress. So on fold, I'm going to put cut out my bust measurement +4, and then I'm going to measure out the zip allowance. After that, I'm going to measure 5.5 as the neck width and come down by 6 inches for the off shoulder, and of course 6 to 9 is what I'm using for the armhole angle. Remember, 5.5 is what I use for my off shoulder. This person is plus size, like really plus size, you can use 6 inches. So after doing this, now from the line of where the zip allowance is going to be, I cut out my bust measurements and add 2 inches, and then I'll also measure cut off my waist measurement where that is supposed to be, and add 3.5 inches. What I'm adding 3.5 inches is that 2 inches is going to be for the allowance, and then 1.5 inches is going to be for the dart. I'm going to take 0.75 as that for both sides of the fabric. So after putting all my measurements, now I'm just going to curve out the armhole, and I went down by 1.5 inch just so that the back is not entirely straight. Now I'm going to add 1/2 inch allowance just to mimic what I already have for the pattern also, so that when I join the front and the back together, the front part will not be too shorter than the back. And then at that upper part line, I measured 1 inch for the zip allowance, and at the waist I measure 0.75, and I'm going to join it with a slant line. I'm sorry this thing is not showing. I didn't know that was out of range. Just like that, I cut it out, and then the back is ready. So because this one doesn't really have like so much ceremony, that's why I decided to cut it directly on the fabric and without pattern.